Matthew chapter 2 again. This is that familiar story of the wise men coming to Christ. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east, and are come to worship him. In verse 4, And gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, Herod inquired of them where the Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written through the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, land of Judah, art in no wise least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come forth a governor, who shall be shepherd of my people Israel. And so Herod sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search out exactly concerning the young child, and when you have found him, bring me word. You know, we as humans are kind of funny people, especially in the West. We want everything fast all the time. We have fast food, we have minute steak, we have minute rice, instant potatoes. For our cars, we have fast lube, Jiffy Lube, fast lane, fast gas. Everything's fast. And if it's not fast, we want to have it first. So we'll wait in line for a week to see a Star Wars movie, even though it's going to play for 2 years. And if there's a new iPhone out, we line up around the block for days. We got to have it first, and we got to have it fast. At the same time, we don't want anything to change. If you go to McDonald's, you want your hamburger done the same way it's always been done for years. They made a new brand of Coke a few years ago, and it went bust because no one drank it. We want things fast, but we don't want them to change. And in the church, it's no different. If we want something or need something, we want to pray right now and get it right now. If we don't have it in 24 hours, the prayer doesn't work. And we only pray when we want something, not just for the sake of praying. No matter the fact that Abraham had to wait 25 years to get his son that God promised him. We want it instantly. We want it now. And if it doesn't come, we take things into our own hands. At the same time, we don't want anything to change. Many churches are so traditional and ritualistic that they've been that way for years. And if you try to change them, no way. You wouldn't change, do what we did up here tonight, because that wasn't according to script. So we want things quick, we don't want them to change. And the problem is, if there's an error, if something doesn't come, there's an error, it keeps perpetuating. Because this is the way it's always been. And this is the way it's always going to be. So help me God. So look at the story about the wise men and the shepherds and the scribes and Pharisees. Because, you see, the shepherds were the lowest of the low in the culture of Judea. They had no education. They probably didn't know the prophecies. If they did, they'd only know them in passing. But when the angels came to them, they were amazed. And they didn't just say, that was a nice show, let's go have coffee. They said, let's go to Christ. Let's go to the manger. And they went, and they found Jesus. Now the wise men were just the opposite. They were well-educated scientists. And they saw the star. And again, they didn't say, that was a nice event, I'll write about it. They said, let's go. On a journey that probably took them a year to get there. But they went. And they found Christ. But the scribes and the chief priests of Herod, people who were trained in the law, trained in the Torah, trained in the prophecies, who knew the prophecies because they recited them to Herod. They were so immersed in their tradition that a king born in Bethlehem, kings were born in Jerusalem, not in Bethlehem, even though the prophet said it was. That's not our tradition. That's not what happens. You go and let us know what you find. So they didn't go, although they were the ones that were the most trained in the subject. They didn't go. They didn't find Jesus. In fact, they haven't found him yet. They're still looking. There used to be an ad out, a car ad a few years ago that said, life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. Well, you can enjoy the ride an awful lot more if you know the destination. And if your destination is Christ, then your journey is going to be much more pleasant. But the point is, you have got to go on it. If you're going to find Christ, you've got to go yourself. No one else can go and just tell you about him. You have got to go yourself. Like the shepherds, like the wise men, you've got to go to find Christ. Not like the chief priests and the scribes who stayed behind. Because you'll never find him sitting down and waiting for someone else to show him. Christ said, I stand at the door and knock. Well, in order to get into the door, someone has got to get up and go to the door to open it. We've got to get up and go to Christ for him to come to us. Amen. So this Christmas, as we're celebrating the birth of Christ, let us all go to the manger ourselves and see what's there and accept what's there. And if we do that, regardless of our other problems, our journey is going to be much more pleasant. That's something to think about.